welcome back to Makeup Obsession. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, I will have a review as well as a demo of this palette right here. It is by Qing Beauty and it's their Exotic Pop palette. Before we get started with the review, I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I frequently upload makeup and beauty related videos. Also make sure to click the notification bell below so you can get notified every time I have a new post. I just want to show you guys real quick what the palette looks like. So this is what it looks like on the outside, and this is what it looks like on the back. It shows like all the ingredients and stuff, and it has like a really nice feel to it. It's like a matte finish, and I really like the print over here because it's like metallic and then all like the pretty colors. I think that's really nice and fun. And when you open it up, there is a mirror on this side, which is actually quite good. I use it throughout the video. Side, there is like, you can see there are names on each shade. I like the layout of the colors. I think this is such an interesting palette to work with because you do have some neutrals, some pops of color. I like the color story. There are shades in here that are more neon. So if you look at this green right here, the pink, I also like the glitters are all here in this bottom row. There's a black shade, which is really nice if you're working with different looks. This is definitely useful. I like that there are lots of like pretty shimmers, some really pretty metallic colors, and they do have some duochromes as well, like this shade called Blush, Delightful, Secret Garden. These are so beautiful shades that are unique and I haven't seen before. Matte shades are really varied, so you can definitely create a lot of looks with this one. What's good about it is that they also have some highlight shades right here on the corner. They also have lots of different like tones of neutral right here. If you don't want to play with all the crazy colors, you can definitely stick to your everyday neutrals right here, which is really cool. This is such a fun palette, and I can't wait to show you guys this makeup look that I did with this palette. All of the products are going to be listed down below. I have a discount code for this palette and for Qing Beauty Shop. Just type this one at checkout so that you can get 8% off of your entire purchase. Before we play with the Exotic Pop palette, I'll just apply this primer all over my eyes. I was thinking that I want to try the palette and see how pigmented the colors are. So instead of using like a concealer to prime my eyes, I'll just use like a regular transparent primer for the eyes. I've been loving this primer so far because I noticed that it does help the eye makeup stay on longer. I do have my affiliate links on the description box for you guys to check out the products that I used in this video. This is the first time that I'm using this eyeshadow palette, so I want to protect my base by just baking underneath the eyes and applying like a thick layer of powder so that any possible fallout will just go underneath. This is such a big palette. I'm super excited to use it. I really want to test out how beautiful they perform. I will do like a rainbow eye. So I think I will get started by applying an orange shade on the crease. I'm gonna use this shade called Autumn, and I will just work that on the crease of my eye and see how that color goes. You know, I really do like this color. I think it's opaque. I only dipped the brush twice and you can see there's a lot of color that is on my lid. As far as texture goes, I think it's super smooth and it does blend out nicely. I'm just gonna grab a blender brush just to blend the edges out even more. I'm just taking this a little bit far out. I noticed that it doesn't take that long to get the opacity that I like with the colors, and I'm really impressed with that. So let's move on to the next shade. I think I will apply a little bit of a pink fuchsia shade on the crease, like much closer to my crease right here. So I'm really packing the color on the brush. I'm using like a medium size brush. It's fluffy but a little bit flat, and I will apply that right here on the, just really close to the crease of my eye. I'm slightly overlapping with the first shade, but I'm keeping it right here on the orbital bone of my eye. I noticed that there's not a lot of fallout with the first two shades that I use, and that's a good thing because it means that it's a clean shadow to work with. Product is really creamy for sure. And let me see how these two colors blend, because that will really tell me how good the products perform. One thing I noticed about this shade is that it's not as opaque as I expect it to be. It's not the same fuchsia color, like it's blending too much with the first shade that I applied. We're gonna layer a little bit more right here on the crease. I'm still working on the crease area, and I will apply this shade called Magenta. Again, just packing it on the same brush that I used earlier. Since they come from the same color family, I think that using the same brush would work for that. And I noticed that this color, it's really coming out true to the color that it is on the pan, which I'm really happy about. So these first three shades that I'm working with, they are matte in formula, and I noticed that again there's not a lot of fallout. Actually, there's not any fallout, barely any fallout on my eyes, which is truly nice. And I really like the fade of these three colors. As you can see, it looks kind of like sunsetty almost. I really like that it's easy to blend colors into each other, and they tend to not, because sometimes when you layer a matte color with another matte color, it tends to grab onto the first shade and it tends to look patchy. So far so good. It's not patchy, it's blending really nice, colors even in opacity all throughout, and I really like the way that the fade shows. So I'm really impressed with that. Let me go back with my blending brush and just really work on doing this blend really nicely. I do want to play with a little bit of purple on the lid, and I will apply this shade called Dream, and I will mix a little bit of the shade called Lilac with that, just because this palette doesn't have the purple that I was looking for. So I'm gonna mix those two shades together and let's see how it goes. So that purple shade, I'm going to just apply it here on the outskirts of the eye, and then I will apply it on the inner part as well, just right here. This purple is looking really pretty. I really like the way that the purple performs. Honestly, I think this is a good purple because it's really hard to formulate purples in eyeshadows, and I noticed that if it is cheaper made quality, the purple tends to not grab onto the eye primer. This one, I really like that it's opaque and it's not grabbing onto the other colors in a weird way, so that's really nice. I really do like the way that it's blending. You barely have to work with it, and also it picks up really nicely on the brush. So on the main lid, I want to play with a blue shade, and I will use this shade called Navy. This is a shimmer shade, so it looks really nice and metallic. So let me see how that performs on the lid of my eye. I'm just gonna tap this all over. I love this palette so far. So I noticed that the shimmer is super creamy to the touch. The thing that I'm noticing though about this palette is that it does take a little bit to layer the shimmer on top of this matte. As you guys can see, like it's like getting patchy over here. So I might just wet a brush and then redip the product, because I really want this to like even out. So let's see how that works. So I just wet my brush with a little bit of setting spray, and let's see how it works. I honestly think that it is best applied with a wet brush. So there are shimmers that do perform like that. I'm just gonna work on blending the purple on to the blue a little bit. So I'm just gonna add some more right here. For the inner corner highlight, I do want to use like a more foiled shadow, because they do have some shadows that are more foiled. So I will use the shade Milky Way without any setting spray on the inner corner and see how that works out. This is really pretty. So I do like the formula of their foiled shadows, because some of their like the navy one, I thought it was foiled, but it's actually more of like a shimmer. But this shade Milky Way is definitely a foil. You can feel a little bit oilier texture from it. That's pretty. I really like that. What do you guys think? I want to pop some glitter right here to see how their glitters works. Every time I work with glitters, I love using my Too Faced glitter glue. So we'll see how that works. So I will just apply my glitter primer with a small brush, just right here on the base of the blue. So I like putting like a thicker, heavier layer. I don't want the glitter to fall on my eye. And I think I will use this pretty shade called Ocean. So I'm using the same side of the brush that has the glitter to pick up the glitter from my palette. And it looks really pretty. So let us pop that in the center. So I like working with glitter. It's grabbing onto the primer so well, I have to say. So I think the glitter looks beautiful. It's also not chunky. It's more on the fine. It's more of like a fine glitter formula. I'm loving the way that this eye look looks. It's super fun and super colorful, super festive. So I love the way that it turned out. For underneath the eyes, I want to use Fuchsia, which is that second shade we worked with, because I want it to really be more apparent on the eye look. So just underneath the eyes. Yeah, I kind of want to apply a little bit of blue on top. So I'm taking out the color called Love Bug just underneath so that there's a hint of blue right there. This is a darker blue shade and I love the way it looks. So far, for a shimmer shadow, this one is easier to pick up than the blue I used earlier. I don't know if because we used a lot of like matte shades on top of each other that made the shimmer shadow blend poorly on top of it, but this one's doing okay. Finish up the eye look with mascara and false lashes and I'll be right back. This is the final look. All the other products that I use all over my face will be in the description box. To conclude my review on Qing Beauty's Exotic Pop Palette, I think this palette is definitely worth investing for. It is only $35 and you can use my special discount code. I will pop it up here on the screen, guys. It's gonna be on the description box as well so that you can get 8% off of your purchase. So the fact that it's $35, you get 88 shades, so technically that's about 40 cents per shade. You can create a lot of pretty looks on this one, natural looks, a little bit more dramatic, colorful look. I do love the way that the mattes perform in this palette. I think they're really creamy. They build nice, they blend really nice, they layer on top of other matte colors beautifully. The shimmers, I have to say, that blue one that I use is just a little bit harder to blend on top of the eyeshadow. It's harder to lay on the lid. However, when you use a brush and spray a little bit of setting spray, it does stick to the lid nicely and you get the opacity that you want. And the other shimmers that I've tried and the foils that I tried in the palette, they work good. You don't need to wet them. They do lay on the eyes really nice. And I think that with the variety of colors that you can get, it is such an affordable palette. The glitters in here are phenomenal. I think they are super opaque. They do stay on the lid really nice. You know how sometimes glitter, they tend to be too chunky and then they tend to clump on the eye. So these glitters don't do that. Also, the fallout on the palette, not much, not a lot really. I only got like probably a little bit on the nose. I really didn't get a lot of product kickback. I didn't really get a lot of product fallout, which is really nice. I was able to play with about 10 colors from this palette and I have to say that I'm highly impressed and I can't wait to try other palettes from Qing Beauty. I think their quality is really excellent considering the price that you pay for these many shadows. And if you are a makeup collector, you'll definitely love this palette because there are a lot of colors in here that are super unique and there's just a lot of textures and formulas here that are really interesting to play with. So if you collect makeup and you love makeup, this is something that is really nice to add to your collection. It is a chunky palette. It's quite big, as you can see, but it's not heavy, it's lightweight. And throughout the video I only used the mirror that is on the palette. So the mirror that it comes in is actually quite decent. I used it throughout the tutorial. If you do your makeup on top of a table, it is definitely much easier. I did my makeup just in front of my camera. This one was on my lap where I was holding it throughout the video. and it was easy for me. It's just a really pretty palette altogether, and I'm so happy that it's a part of my makeup collection. So yeah, I will be putting the links down below for you guys, as well as my discount code, so that you can check that out in case you want to purchase this product or you want to read more about it. That's the end of our review. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Let me know in the comments below what other products you'd like to see me review in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave. Make sure that you click the notification bell so that you can get notified every time I have a new video. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!